Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who finds out from his bandmate that his girlfriend has been cheating on him with their drummer. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. If you're a musician who's ever played in a band, you've probably heard the rule, never bring your boyfriend to practice. Well, like most rules, there's a reason it's in place, and I had to find out the hard way. I thought that maybe my band was the exception, since we're a small local act that's been around for years without much drama. We started playing together in high school, playing covers of AC/DC and Black Sabbath, and we've all been friends since way before I even thought about starting a band. But alas, the still-breathing ghost of Yoko Ono comes back to haunt yet another group of musicians. I started seeing my girlfriend a few months ago, and music was what kept our hearts beating in the same rhythm. I met her after one of our live shows. I was taking a smoke break outside while my bandmates were taking their gear off stage, when suddenly she approached me and said she liked my voice. I told her thanks, and then she borrowed one of my cigarettes and asked about the band. Apparently she's been going to our shows for a while and was trying to work up the confidence to talk to me, the singer. She sparked an artistic revolution within me. For most of my band's existence, we've just been having fun playing covers, but I wanted to try writing some of my own songs. I admit most of them weren't great, but I enjoyed writing them, and when I started to involve her in the creative process, they started sounding way better. It felt like she was my muse, so why not bring her to practice? My band wasn't enjoying this artistic revolution as much as I was. Our bassist had a hard time learning some of the theory, and the guitarist thinks that my new material isn't heavy enough. The drummer, however, seemed indifferent to most of the changes. Our band isn't the only band he plays in, and he says the only reason he still plays with us is because he likes hanging out. If anything, he seems glad to be playing something new. I thought that if my band met the inspiration for the new songs, they might have an easier time adapting. And my girlfriend has been pestering me for a while to let her watch us practice. So I held a vote with my bandmates whether or not to break this sacred musical rule, and they decided that we've already crossed the line a long time ago. I invited her for the next practice, and soon she started coming to see us every time. Something weird was happening though. After a few practice sessions, her focus started shifting from me to my drummer, and now all she does is stare at him while he plays. I pretend not to notice, but I can still see that something is up. I'd have to be blind not to see it happening. After a long time of feigning indifference, it became the norm at our practices, and I even noticed her looking all the way to the back of the stage whenever we played live. I'm not the only one seeing it either. One night after practice, my guitarist came to talk to me about it. He said that the way my girlfriend looks at our drummer weirded him out, and that they're doing way more than just eye-effing each other. I don't know how to tell you this, but I saw your girlfriend and the drummer making out backstage after a show, he told me. Remember a few nights ago when she said she'll help pick up the cables? And you gave her a thumbs up before effing off like usual? Well, I was helping the bass player load our amps into the van, and I ran back in to grab our instrument cases. That's when I saw them in that corner together. I don't know how far they were going, but man, they were all over each other. After I heard the news, I probably froze for a solid minute. It's one thing to be suspicious, but it's something entirely different to know for sure. I could barely muster up a response. All I said was, "Thanks for telling me," and left. I haven't confronted either of them yet, but I'll get my revenge in due time. Right now I'm writing a song about their affair, and when it's finished, I'll come up with another version with different lyrics for the band to practice together. Then, when it's time to debut the new number, I'm going to sing the real lyrics and call both of them out in front of everyone. We'll update when it's time to play this thing live. Is it too childish? I'm heartbroken, so I'm not really thinking straight. Turns out that when you're in a musical relationship, it's hard to keep a song secret. One night, I was strumming out some different chords, trying to find out what sounds nice with the words. And then she popped out of nowhere and asked me if I was working on something new. "Yeah," I said, "I'd rather write this one myself. It's supposed to be a surprise." She must have not heard what I was singing because she just smiled and walked away. That was when I was just starting out on this song. As of writing this post, I've finished it as well as the clean version. But every time I tried to write more of it, she seems a little more interested. Guess it's a good thing that she's invested in it. But I had more than one close call. Rehearsing the song was easier than writing it. I told my bandmates that this one was a love song, and my girlfriend wasn't going to be showing up because I want the first time she hears it to be live. Got a few eye rolls. My guitarist didn't understand at first, but when I explained my plan to him, he loved it. And I think it's worth mentioning that the drummer was noticeably less enthusiastic than at our last few practices. However, it was nice. It felt like back in sophomore year when we barely knew how to play our instruments. The first verse of the clean version and real version are the same, just to get the band in a groove before chaos erupts. And because I have a sick sense of humor, I had the drummer come up with a drum fill to play before the chorus hits, which is where things start to get different. I feel like we're getting to a point where it's solid, and we're going to debut it live later this week. Had to post early because I'm so excited for the shit show. We'll let you know how it goes. Last update. Last night was the night of the concert, and it went about as well as I thought it would. The bar we were playing at had more people in the audience than we're used to. Guess playing originals is starting to pay off. We started off the set with a few songs that over time became live favorites. In the middle, we did a cover of Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, and saved the brand new song for last. For the most part, it was a good gig. If we had the same turnout and energy in the crowd any other night, I would have been happy. But tonight, I was ecstatic. After getting through a set list of songs that at this point became muscle memory, it was time to play something new. We just got through our second to last song, and when the applause died down, it was time to make an announcement. Alright everyone, this last song is a new one that I wrote for someone special in the audience. And suddenly the spotlight was on my girlfriend. For the first minute or so of the song, she seemed to really enjoy it. I think part of it actually made her emotional. Then the drum fill came in, and it came to an abrupt end. The line I've been practicing was, "I'm so lucky to have found you, every day feels like summer." What I actually sang was, "F you, girlfriend's name, I know you're sleeping with my drummer." The crowd was filled with mixed emotions. Some people cheered, others were in shock. But only one face in that audience mattered, and that face was absolutely heartbroken. While the bass and guitar players kept on playing, the drummer stopped. All it took was 2 more lines for him to get up from the drum kit, push me off stage, and yell at the audience, "Show's over, get out." As bad as that fall hurt, God did that moment feel so good. Needless to say, my girlfriend left after that incident, but she wasn't the only person who left. The drummer quit the band immediately after the show, and I'm not sure if we're welcome at the venue anymore. Regardless of whether we can find a new drummer or not, it's the first time our lineup changed since the band's inception. And I don't think we can go back to just playing covers after it's all said and done. However, this might have been the most fun I've ever had playing a show. We still have our core members, and this whole thing might have been what we needed to get into a groove. Even if we were just cursed by Yoko Ono, I can't help but think of that one John Lennon quote, "Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end." Your revenge sounds awesome, OP. Your ex-girlfriend deserves what she got. Every action has consequences, and this is the consequence of her cheating on you with the guy who essentially works with you, who you see almost every time. She was very selfish for what she did to you and your band. The drummer's also a horrible person for cheating with your ex-girlfriend. He should have kept his hands to himself, even with her advances. I hope your band gets back on track, OP. Good luck. Story 2. Quick background. I had a son when I was 18, mom got into drugs, I took custody. When he was 7, I met a gal, 19 at the time, and we fell in love, had a daughter, and got married. Over the years, we've had ups and downs. Now we're really down. As our relationship progressed, we failed to take care of it. And when she was 24, she cheated and ran out on me. She left for 4 months, then came back. During the time she was gone, myself and the 2 kids did very well after the initial shock and my depression. Of course, it didn't take long to fall back into a rut, and really neither of us worked on the relationship. Never got counseling like we said we would either. I've been very verbally abusive, demanding, and negative. Not that she was an angel, but really didn't deserve what I did. She's bipolar, and I strongly suspect there's more mental issues there too. Fast forward 6 years till now, it's been a long time since that sort of behavior. Lots of great times, and love too, of course. She's on pain management, Vicodin, and recently started to drink almost nightly. My brother-in-law kept hitting on her apparently for months. A couple weeks ago she had sex with him, then had sex with a neighbor guy. Neither of these guys are at all her type. They were just there and gave her attention. If it weren't them, it would have been someone else. Then the whole thing about the neighbor came to light Sunday night and blew up. Everyone, including her family, were very shocked at her behavior. She checked herself into a hospital on Monday morning because she wanted to hurt herself, and then told me she had slept with my brother-in-law. She basically nuked her whole life. Even after she gets out of the hospital, she's got nowhere to stay. She has her car and clothes and such, but that's it. No money, no job, nothing. Not even really any friends to turn to. Her family won't take her in either. She has shit and absolutely nowhere to turn. She'll end up in a shelter or something. Of course I love her and am really hurt. I really am concerned for her though. I don't know what she'll do. And as much as I want to feel like it's not my effing problem, I'm just really worried. My plan is to get divorce papers and temp full custody papers in order, and have her sign when she gets out, which she said she would do before she went to hospital. Get myself some counseling ASAP. Daughter sees a counselor, and I think I'll find one for my son too. Take care of the kids and house, the thing she used to do. The three of us do very well together when she's not around. I have to say it, but we do better, always have. Of course I want her to be well, and I really care about her. But I have to help my kids and myself first and foremost, so that's the absolute most important thing. And we're all doing pretty well under the circumstances. Should I even be thinking that there's some way we could ever be right? Like, I want to believe if we both get help for our issues and she gets stable, then if we both wanted and were committed to it, we would get counseling together. Then maybe at some point she could move back. I'm sure there's stuff left out, so ask questions. Unfortunately, you can't fix her, OP. You need to take care of yourself and your kids. You need to protect them and protect you from her. That means getting some distance from her. If at some point in the future she proves that she has her condition under control and her life in order, then you can consider re-establishing a non-romantic relationship with her. Here's what you need to do in the short term. 1. Get a lawyer, like now. 2. Get counseling and support for your kids and for yourself. Let her take care of herself. I know that you love her, but she's beyond your help. It's tough, but you need to let her go for the kids' sake. Now for some comments. Get a divorce now while you can prove everything. If you're in it for the children, her hospitalization will weigh heavily in your favor. If you wait to fight for custody for a year like I did, she will likely have the documents thrown out of court. Just do it. Love is not enough. The worst breakups I've ever had were when I loved someone but they were not good for me. She obviously has behavioral problems, and to be honest, it's not uncommon for people to jump on the mentally ill I'm going to hurt myself bandwagon after they are exposed as liars, cheats, and manipulators. Basically, she figures that if she gets checked into a psych hospital, somehow that will make her less guilty because she's quote-unquote mentally ill. If you didn't have kids, I might tell you to give her some time and help her sort herself out. But with children in the picture, she needs to go far, far away for a very long time. You can help her by encouraging her to get treatment. As far as I'm concerned, there are 3 types of people with serious psychiatric disorders. The first type take care of themselves by taking whatever medication they're prescribed, and by seeing their psychiatrist whenever necessary. These people can and often do lead relatively normal lives. The second type takes their medication and generally adheres to whatever is advised by their medical specialist team, but for whatever reason, they remain unstable and unable to lead normal lives despite everyone's best efforts. They have my utmost respect and empathy. The third type are self-absorbed and irresponsible arseholes who not only refuse to take care of themselves, but use their disorder as an excuse to make decisions which impact negatively on those they claim to love. It appears your wife falls into the latter group. So I suggest you make your decisions in regard to her and your future together with that in mind.